Stick around to the end of today's episode for a very special announcement that you do not want to miss.
Hey, welcome to Pork Chops, Rice, and Peaches. I'm Richard.
I'm Noah.
And today we are going to return to the wonderful world of One Piece. I'm stealing that title from someone. My apologies. Because I have finished... I'm still in East Blue. I have finished volumes 4, 5, and 6. And we decided as we continue this journey to talk about it today.
I think that's a good amount of chapters for a video to like update after each volume, because I did a refresher because it's been a while since I've read through the whole manga.
Right.
So after volumes 1, 2, and 3, I read to get the cliff notes of what happened to remind myself to refresh.
Right.
I did the same thing with this one. There's a lot that happens in this.
There is a tremendous amount that happens in this, so much so that I wanted to be reaching for 1, 2, and 3 to double check a couple of things. But so it was a year ago that we filmed Millennial Son Teaches Gen X Dad about One Piece, and I have to admit, completely, I was skeptical, and it probably came out in a video if anybody watched it. And
I think a lot of people watched that based off of its current view count.
It's one of those things. But so I finished reading this Sunday night in a hotel in St. Charles, Missouri. Wonderful little town to go visit if you never have. And I asked myself, why did I wait so long? Because I had this since like late November, early December. And then I just let life intervene. And I said to myself, no more. Get it, read it. Get it, read it. Make the time, because this is absolutely wonderful escapism. We're in a quiet room. Your mom's relaxing on the bed, just chilling out. Pop a light on, prop my feet up, start reading, and just get lost. And so this is going to be this strange thing. I was thinking about this in the car on the way home.
Okay.
You think about everything that takes place in One Piece. Mm-hmm. Reading it is the most peaceful experience. and so here's the gig. So I'm a lit guy.
Yes.
Right? I have a literature degree, and I love reading. And, like, the anime's good, but I prefer one pace. Hats off to the people who are putting that together.
Yep.
And I will watch One Piece and continue, but I prefer the manga. I just do.
Okay.
And I said that in the first video, and this one just confirmed it. I prefer the manga.
Okay.
And it was a great experience. I said so what I decided was I need more of this.
Okay.
I need to be reading this at a faster pace, not to get caught up with anything, but that I enjoyed it so much, I need to make time in my life to enjoy it some more.
Okay. All right.
So, we never script these things.
No, we never do.
So I give very few hints going into this, what my thoughts are on anything.
Usually there's some notes.
Well,
I'll have some notes. You usually take more notes than I do.
I take a lot of notes.
I do.
And
I'm off the cuff a lot of times.
I don't discuss things as well off the cuff, except for when you and I are in one of our rolling 45-minute phone calls, right?
Yeah.
So I broke this up. I broke my notes up into 4 categories: character, location, odds and ends, and things that made me laugh out loud.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Since
I'm really excited for this. I've been waiting for this update. So, let's go.
I'm in a journey.
Yes.
Either wait for me to finish or interrupt at any time. This is where I'm going with my thoughts. The most interesting character in this journey so far is Usopp. This is the character that I want to follow the most to see his character development, because he's the character that has me going, I can't figure him out. He's the one.
Okay.
All right. Because of this, Chapter 27, True Lies, there's a panel where Zolo says, I cut. Luffy says, I stretch. Nami says, I steal. And in the next panel, Usopp says, I run and hide. Which
I know which one you're talking about.
So which very easily could have been in the things that made me laugh out loud category because it did. But then Usopp presents just a short time later as a brave character. He runs pell-mell into it's Captain Kuro, the pirate. He runs into this band of ruthless cutthroat killer pilots with amazing slingshot skills, and all to
I know you meant pirates, but you said pilots. And
did I say pilots?
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Pirates. And this is chapter 29, uphill battle. They're going, up that slope, and he just runs in and shows tremendous courage and bravery. Mm-hmm. And he's constantly talking about protecting his town, protecting his village.
Yeah.
All right. So Zolo, I'm going with that name. In chapter 35, the steep slope, makes this comment. He's about Usopp. He says, he's got a quick tongue, that Usopp. He gave the boys in Kaya an honorable reason to run. Like, okay, what a tip of the hat to his character from someone who didn't need to be doing that. You're laughing at me. I don't know.
I'm enjoying this.
Okay.
I am enjoying this.
So
I was waiting. I was waiting after the first 3 volumes. I was wondering if this ever would bring out this side, because this is a side of you I have not seen since my high school days studying lit.
Okay.
And I'm like, I was wondering if it would bring that out.
Yes.
I was wondering.
So then we get, because this character has me wondering. So then, chapter 46, an uninvited guest, he shows the start of cowardice. Mm-hmm. He challenges Sanji by saying, you want to fight? I'm not going to take that from you. Get him, Zolo. Yeah. Okay. And which is at once hysterical, but you know me. Mm-hmm. I key in on those little clues to character development, and then they stick with me, and then I want to know, okay, how does this resolve? And so we see a character who is at once courageous. Yep. He's a fighter. Yep. He's wise. I think the honorable reason to run comment, and he took a beating when he did that.
Usopp?
Yeah, he did. All right. He's capable of self-sacrifice, and then he shows a little bit of cowardice. And so my question at this point in the manga, is he brave? Is he a coward? Or is he someone who's only willing to fight when he is either fighting for someone he cares a great deal about, or does he only fight in a team? When he was going into the fight to protect his island, he had backup. Mm-hmm. He didn't know him well, but he had backup. He had a team. And so I was talking to your mom about this just the other night, and I shared this thought with her. Uh-huh. And I said to her immediately, of course, you know the answer to this. And she looked at me and she smiled and she said, yes, I do. And then she turned and walked away.
Oh, that's great. She is keyed in.
She is not going to spoil anything for me, right? So of all the characters we've seen so far, Usopp has my attention the most. Okay. All right. And
now, I have a real quick question.
Sure.
Have you caught the wordplay in his name?
No, I haven't given any thought to his name.
Okay, so his name's Usopp.
Right.
And he tells lies, right?
Yes.
He's a liar.
Yes.
But you could also view what he's doing as telling fables.
Aesop?
He is his name is inspired by Aesop. If I'm remembering correctly, the shtick of Usopp is that he tells tall tales, which is why he tells Kaya, I slew a goldfish that was this big, and he tells all these.
Aesop's fables always had a lesson in them.
Yes, and that's why it's inspiration.
Okay,
that's why it's inspiration, not a modeled like he's not supposed to be Aesop. It's inspiration. It's just a fun fact,
Okay,
really.
all right,
It's just
no,
a
that's
fun
fine,
fact
that's
because
fine.
a lot of people have made the connection that he tells all these crazy, outlandish tales, and his name is Usopp, which sounds like Aesop, and I don't remember if Oda ever confirmed that or not, but I'm pretty sure.
I was doing research on the relationship between Ray Bradbury's short story The Pedestrian and Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah.
And the lead character in The Pedestrian is Leonard Mead. And Leonard Mead's the character who's out walking the street at night.
Yeah.
And it's a very serene, very peaceful thing. And one of the authors that I read was commenting on the clues to that because of the name Mead. And I remember thinking to myself, what is it? Well, variation of meadow. And you think of the creation, the idea of meadow, and then you get the people, right? But even knowing that,
I was thinking alcoholic drink.
well, see, so was I when I first, when I first came across that. When I read names, unless they're clobbering me over the head with obviousness, I don't think to
make the connection
to research names to see what that is. It's just something that doesn't occur to me.
Well, I was just curious because it's a fun little detail.
It is a fun little
when
detail.
You notice
Okay.
it, but it's not so distracting.
So what you've sparked in me is now the question: as I read more of how Usopp talks, are there going to be lessons in these tall tales he tells? And that has to be seen over the expansion of the entire One Piece journey. And so now that's just going to ride in the back of my head. You have free rent.
One Piece lives rent free in your head.
Yes. Barate.
Welcome to the club.
Oh, thank you.
Barate.
Oh, Barate?
That's how I usually hear it pronounced.
Barate. Barate. Okay.
That's how I hear it pronounced a lot. I have no idea. There's a lot of weirdness with translations.
Yes, there is.
And how people pronounce
Yes,
things.
there is.
But
And
call it what you want. I'll call it Barate.
a little
Yes.
well, hey, I'm going with Zolo, and apparently I'm pissing off all of the One Piece universe.
Not yet.
Was the quest for Red Shoes log in the live action, or was it dropped?
Don Krieg was dropped from the live. Well, okay, he wasn't dropped from the live. So remember when Mihawk is introduced in the live action?
Yes.
He's fighting Don Krieg. Don Krieg is in that sequence,
Right.
and he's on the beach.
Right.
And he gets taken down. So Don Krieg got taken out of the equation.
Okay.
To cut down on time, obviously,
All right.
because
of
the live action.
Well, so that was the first thing that caught my attention because I didn't remember seeing that, and then the whole explanation of red shoes, how they got red, in your opponent's blood, but it gives a whole new layer to Chef.
Yes.
Right. And this is one of the reasons, again, why I like this original source material is because you get everything that was intended, and I don't know if I've seen all of that in anime. I don't think I have, but it wasn't in the live action.
Yeah.
And then, anyways, it was a point that I really liked. It was a moment of description that said, well, this guy's a whole lot tougher than I may have suspected, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Which also makes the backstory so much more heart-wrenching. You know?
Yeah.
All right, so
The you see where the live action is a good adaptation.
yes.
But you're really starting to see what you miss.
Well, yes, and which just makes me want to dump. I will enjoy the next installment of the live action.
Yes.
But
Sticking with that.
I'm a lit guy. I just am. I didn't realize they went in search of a cook at Barate. I thought they stumbled into it while lost in a fog, which is what the live action suggested. And so the fact that it was an intended destination, and they were in search of a cook just made it that much more interesting. So I liked that aspect of it. Barate is a biker bar.
Isn't it?
Right. It's a pirate biker bar. It's a pirate pub.
Yeah.
A Corsair cafeteria. I don't know. Yeah, and it's a little better than that.
Cafeteria.
Did you like that? I worked hard on that this afternoon.
I bet you did.
I had two different thesauruses open to pull that one off.
Oh.
One on my phone, one on my computer. I was like, I've got to do this at the same time. Anyway, Sanji. All right.
Okay.
So the Sanji. So far, there's not a tremendous amount of depth to him in anything that I've seen, whether it's anime, live action, or the manga. He's a ladies' man. He's a chef. He's a fighter. He's a fashionista. He feels an obligation to feed the hungry. And this is the most interesting thing about his character. Regardless of their ability to pay or their potential to threaten his future safety. That's an interesting thing.
Isn't it?
Right, okay. But he will kill those same people if necessary. After they're healthy. It's like almost it would be dishonorable to kill them in their weakened state. Whereas most of us would just say, well, it's a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it's true.
I am sure that we're going to unpack his character in future volumes. I would be highly disappointed if he remained two-dimensional. But at this point in the story, he's two-dimensional. I'll just say that. That's not a criticism.
Halfway through the Barate arc, by the way.
Yeah.
To make sure everyone's aware, this ends with chapter 53, I believe. It's chapter 53 that this volume ends on, so that's as far as he's gotten.
Yes.
So you just witnessed Mihawk.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, it is. That's it. And so there's, where I'm at. Now, from the odds and ends department, the little things I didn't know how to categorize. The delight of reading these volumes, and I don't know if the individual episodes are this way. I suspect they are. The Q&A corner, the chapter cover art. I love the chapter cover art.
Isn't the chapter cover art good? So much fun.
My only kind of regret is that it's not full color.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine Oda's imagination in full color is just a wonderful place to be.
It's fantastic. I believe there's an official colored version of the manga that is done post, but they're only up like 500 chapters. There are fan colorings though that are pretty good, and it looks great in color. It looks great in color. Does. It's made for color.
And I look at the cover art for the chapters, and of course and I'm still drawing a blank on this character's name. I have an hour in the car to get here, and I can't remember the clown's name.
Buggy,
thank you, Buggy. Buggy, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Buggy is a repulsively drawn character. Buggy reminds me of the Rugrats. I never.
That's a word. That's a description.
I never watched the Rugrats because I couldn't get over the animation. It's hideous to look at.
Okay.
I loved Buggy live action.
Yeah.
I just
he's
did.
fantastic.
He is fantastic. So, but all of the cover art in 4, 5, and 6 is about Buggy and his adventures, and I was actually looking forward to the next one. Right?
I told you about the cover.
You did, but I didn't.
That is part of the story. That's what he's doing right now.
I didn't understand it until I started looking at it. And then, as much as I find Buggy unpleasant to look at, I found myself looking forward to seeing the next, right? And I think the one I like the most is Buggy frantically rowing with 3 what looks like piranha jumping out of the ocean to eat them. I was hysterical, And the thing about it, you finish a chapter, you leave the story, you leave your characters, so you frequently leave them in a cliffhanger situation. You flip the page, you get a Q&A quarter, which is it's inside baseball. That's the thing. It really is, right?
It is.
And then you get the background information and the sketches. The sketches, the rough sketches. It's like there's so much that goes into this.
Yeah.
And
I think it's
the concept art.
Yes. Yeah. The concept art and the sketches of the scene with Mihawk, where before Mihawk leaves.
Right.
There's really good sketch art of that where he showed his pre-finished
Yes.
sketching of Mihawk, and it looks so good.
So what the manga has that the anime and the live action don't, and they can't have it, is that every single time you turn a page, there's a surprise. There is either a surprise in the story, or there's a character in the background. It's like, what is that fish with an umbrella doing way in the background of, you get little stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you end the chapter, and you get the sketch art, and you get the Q&A, and so it's just a delight to read this.
Okay.
And the Q&A is just a riot.
Mm-hmm.
The
Q&A is just funny.
So far, the Mihawk live action was done so well.
Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Because, let's be honest, you're going through the East Blue story.
Yes.
Kuro, done so well.
Mm-hmm.
Almost perfect.
Right.
I would say that's a near perfect. Buggy, absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That actor just puts so much into it.
Yes.
Mihawk's actor, blown away by, just absolutely. He had the bored attitude down.
Yes.
Perfectly.
Oh yeah.
He had that bored this is tedious.
Yes.
And you woke me from my nap.
Yes.
He had that down to a T.
So there's the only surprise in the Mihawk character that I saw was that he just came off of sinking 50 ships with his sword. Okay, no, I read that and I was just like, my first thought was, did I miss that in the live action? Did I forget it? Was it not in it?
They didn't hype it up as much.
But it has a bigger impact in here.
It does.
It really does, because the fear that the other characters have when he makes his appearance is just like, it's okay, so here's the first time the fear of a character was palpable. Off the freaking page.
Okay.
I'm pulling out the big book on this one. Right? The fear of his, you could feel it. It jumped off the page. And, and so, I'll be honest with you. That's the first time a comic book has ever evoked that response in me. So that was really cool. So it just makes me more impressed with everything that he's doing. So I kind of understand the whole Zolo wants to be the best by defeating the best. I mean, pretty much, that every team that wins the Super Bowl wants to knock off the previous year's Super Bowl winner. Stuff like that. I get that. I guess I can't relate to it too much, but there's an aspect to this. Oda has tapped into human nature and the pain of childhood and the trauma that it causes and how it manifests itself later in adult life. He's tapped into that so well. There is a hidden layer to Zolo's character that I'm waiting to see if it gets explored, and that's this. He's living his life in pursuit of fulfilling a promise to another person who they had a shared dream. A shared dream that they couldn't really, either one of them, achieve without knocking off the other one, because there can be only one on top. But I don't 100% buy that this is truly his dream of being the best swordsman in the world. I think was her name Maya?
Kuina.
Mm-hmm. Is more like he's trying to carry on her dream. And you can only do that so long in life. You will become miserable, or you will fail. And so I'm waiting to see, is this truly his dream, or is he going to hit a point where he says, I can't do this anymore? Does he find something in the story that makes him realize this is my true calling?
Okay, so to avoid spoilers, 2 comments.
Okay.
To avoid spoilers. First off, I think your question will be answered. And I think with how much attention you're paying to it, I don't think you're going to miss it. I think it's going to be pretty clearly laid out. Okay. Although the seed to that is planted at the end of this volume.
Oh, now I have to go back and reread.
Well, it's the end where he's been defeated. That's where the seed to his character arc is planted. But you won't get that. You won't see how it bears fruit until you read much later on. That's my first.
He swears he'll never lose again.
Uh-huh.
But the question is, does he defeat the best? He might go his life and never lose again, but still never defeat the best.
That's true. But the one thing I'll say is that you'll start to see more of like his purpose and his drive as the story progresses, and I know you won't miss it based off how much you're reading into this, which is so good. And my second thing is based off of the original like childhood stuff. I can't wait for you to meet Robin.
Archaeologist? Okay.
I can't wait for you to meet Robin. No spoilers. Don't spoil anything. I can't wait for you to meet Robin. I can't wait.
There's so many layers to this story. The silliness, well, I'll save one more comment. Okay, so things that made me laugh. Okay, and this is my last thing.
Okay.
Zolo running with the sound effect shloop shloop shloop. It's just absolutely silly. It was hysterical. I was laughing out loud when I read that. Okay. Luffy arriving late to a fight while screaming, "Why didn't you tell me which way was north?" No wonder you need a navigator.
Right.
I'm going to be a pirate. I can't swim. And
I can't swim. I can't shoot a cannon. I can't cook. And I can't navigate.
And I have no sense of direction.
And I don't know what scurvy is.
All right. I think Luffy's character, while it's certainly got its own layers.
Yeah.
Right. And I have no idea what's coming with his character because it's this. I'm trying to think. Maybe Deadpool. How many characters do we know are the main character and the comic relief? Mean, really, truly, Steve Martin's the jerk. But anyway. The Q&A page, someone writes in, "Why is Luffy so calm?" And Oda's answer is probably because he's so stupid. So, I just chuckled. That was just, I wasn't expecting that. That was so much fun. And then also chapter 39, the world's longest headbutt. Luffy versus Kuro, right? Yeah. I mean, he stretches back a country mile, and I'm like, he's gonna headbutt him, isn't he? Yeah. Bam! Boom. It was kind of fun, made me laugh out loud. And then one that I don't know why I found this. This tickled my funny bone. Patty Cook practicing his customer service skills in a bathroom mirror, saying, "Welcome, Squid Face." Yeah. And it's just Oda has captured this just amazing sense of the absurd.
Yes.
And he blends it seamlessly with his storyline.
Yep.
And then with this understanding of human nature that is just absolutely amazing. And so and nothing, I think, really, the sense of the absurd in this book came out here. Django, the sixth Jackson brother.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone knows that connection.
Right. He could have been on stage in the 70s.
It's not. It's not subtle.
Right. His beard is a mushroom.
Yes, it is.
It grew out of his chin.
Yes, it
right
is.
There. I was like, what was Oda smoking when he came up with it? Was he using mushrooms himself? Right? Because and then he eats the cap off it, gets hypnosis powers, leaves the rest of the mushroom on his chin. And I was like, the question I wrote is, I'm uncertain as to whether Oda eats magic mushrooms or has an amazing sense of the absurd. Either way, I like it.
Yeah.
So, there's two things that I'm going to make sure that I have done before we do the next video.
Okay.
I'm going to do at least one of the coloring pages.
Nice.
Where I'm
I think I used that as a thumbnail on the last video.
It might have. The only reason I haven't done these yet is I don't have a good way of reproducing these. Yeah. And I don't want to cut a page out of the book. Obviously. If I cut the page out, I could scan it. It would be perfect. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to do that.
We can. I can get you better versions of it.
So, and the other thing is, I will make Sprungy Luffy from
Luffy.
volumes 1, 2, and 3. But
there's also the build your own face.
Yeah, that one was fun. I loved that.
Let me turn this a little bit. You can cut out the.
So
the arts and crafts in this, I forgot how much fun they are.
The book is just fun, this whole thing. Yeah. And so I have to say this. My skepticism from a year ago was genuine.
Yeah.
It was rooted in a little bit of bias and just a little bit of ignorance.
Like, okay, I'll let's be real. Look at this. Look at this ship. I need to build these as well.
Right.
Look at this ship.
I know.
Look at this ship. Like, who wouldn't look at Whitebeard's ship and just be like, that's absurd. It's a giant whale with sails that make no sense because they overlap with each other. But you know, we totally get why people would look at this at its surface level. But
I'm sold on looking deeper than the surface level. And I never would have picked this up if we hadn't done that video. You did tell me that these things would happen, and I had to take it on face value for two reasons. One, I know how much literature you've read before you graduated.
Yeah.
And it's a lot.
Yes, it was.
And then you and I have had a couple of conversations where I walked away from the conversation saying, damn, he got it. He remembered. It's stuck. And being totally grateful. So I'm all in. Now and I said that before, I'm all in. I'm really looking forward to going on. This is wonderful.
All right.
That's what I got. This is where I'm at. I know somebody commented last video, you guys have already done East Blue, but we are just tracking my journey. It's going to go a little bit faster than it has. And because this book right here just lit a fire. It just really did. It lit a fire. And so, yeah.
You got an Usopp stand. All right. That's...
And in Usopp... Yeah. Oh, this guy. Kuro. All right. The one thing that just bugs me.
Yeah.
He's got this wonderful gesture, and the actor caught it so well.
The actor caught it so well with that little...
Those are gloves. Those are not claws. That it's not like Wolverine claws.
Yeah.
So why would he have to do this when he's not
in the middle of a fight when he's wearing his claws?
Yeah.
He would have to do that.
Right.
As a pirate. So
and then it became a habit. It's creepy as hell.
That was right.
It's creepy
right?
as all get out.
Right. And it's like the first hint is that like you see him start to do that, and you just think that's a weird Oda. Character trait where he's doing this, but then you see the claws and you immediately realize why he was doing it.
But it's so unnatural. It's so unnatural.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like this is already straining your wrist.
Yeah.
But
apologies to the people if I'm moving too slowly, but this is an incredible journey, and I'm really having fun with this. So, and I know that I have a whole bunch of characters to be introduced to.
Oh, it doesn't. I'll tell you, it doesn't stop.
I believe that.
It does not stop.
I believe that.
It's amazing to me how he can still keep going. Like, all these years later. We're like 25 plus years later.
Yes.
And he is still pumping out. And it's not even that, like... sometimes it seems like he takes a theme. Like, oh, the island we're on is this theme. And then all the characters are based around that. But even within that, he's still coming up with unique character designs.
Yes.
And, their powers and their personalities and how they play into the story. Like, I'm just always blown away. Even to this day, with how many, like, what we're getting nowadays and how much he's introducing. It's like, wow, there's so much going on in this story.
I'm not the biggest fan of Usopp's artwork in terms of his facial structure, right? Oda has an ability to take the masculine and the feminine and either intertwine them or I don't want to say enhance them, but he really kind of brings it out in certain characters without ever demeaning them. Okay? So you can have a ruthless fighter killer who's very feminine.
Yeah.
Very effeminate.
Yep.
But it's never... It just doesn't strike me as being done in a mocking way.
Yeah.
Or a belittling way. And so he's playing with all of these different elements.
I want you to meet Bon Clay now, too.
And he weaves them together. But in the back of my mind is one of the funniest Gallagher lines I have ever heard. You probably know what it is. Never pick a fight with a queer. It hurts worse with the perts. Now, it's just a funny
He's
line.
right, though.
It's just a funny line. He takes and he melds this almost seamlessly, and I enjoy it.
He's very talented at what he does.
Yeah,
he's
most
very
definitely.
he's very talented at what he does. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just so excited hearing your. I'm just lost hearing you go on about what you like about it. I'm just enjoying it so much, and I hope you guys are as well.
I hope so. Let us know, because I'm gonna deep dive.
I could give my thoughts on these things, but I'll be honest, I'd rather just sit and chat about it and hear what you liked about it, because.
Did you enjoy the refresher on this?
Oh, I love going back because I give myself just enough time to refresh on it. And then, of course, you get so advanced, like you get so far, and at a certain point, little minor heads up, I guess. At a certain point, the character stuff takes a backseat to the plot. Because it has to. You have to advance the plot at some point. You have to advance the characters. But there's moments, especially later on, as it gets outrageous, even more outrageous, and bigger in scope, that you have to come back and you have to look at these seeds to remind you why you're invested in what's going on in the modern day. So I'm really enjoying going back and doing like a quick once through and refreshing myself, because then you catch the details you never noticed before. Panda Man is always fun. I don't know if you caught that in the Q&A corner.
I vaguely remember reading something on that.
There's a hidden character. I won't tell you where to find him.
Okay.
But there's a hidden character in a lot of chapters, and it's a man with a panda head.
Oh, okay.
Look and see if you can find him as you read, because he shows up.
If I wrote down every thought I had, this would be 20 pages of notes, and it would be boring. So what I did was I said, okay, what do I want to cover in 30 minutes or less? So
is Usopp your favorite character so far?
No, I wouldn't say he's my favorite character. I'd say he's the most interesting character. And
I'm curious, who's your favorite character so far, then? Or who's just making you go, yeah, I'm enjoying this whenever they show up?
Oh, Luffy, definitely.
Luffy?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, he's just a hoot when he comes out. He's naive. He's funny. He's probably really stupid. He's but there's a wholesomeness to him. He has heart.
Yes, he does.
And
what? Okay. Now I did notice something. Notice something as on my read through. Nami is taking the treasure from the cat ship.
Right.
And Luffy is like, what are you doing? And then she mentioned something about wanting to help the villagers and help Usopp. And and then Luffy goes, oh, okay. Now, knowing what you know from the live action, did that pick up at all? Because... like, obviously not going too far into the spoilers, but you know where Nami ends up.
I know where Nami ends up. I'm trying very, very hard to divorce myself from the anime that I've seen and from the live action, so that I can take what was originally intended and run with it. Okay. And, I know that, your mom watches, as she binged 1,000 episodes. It was on constantly, but because we do business at home and we have to make this talk to store and do frequently it's playing in the background. So I know that there's a storyline somewhere where Usopp breaks away from the crew and they're angry and fighting and doing their own thing and the whole bit. I don't know what caused it. I don't know what precipitated it. I don't know the resolution of it. And I also know that it'll probably happen a whole lot faster than it did in the anime. In the book. Yeah, it does. And so but I try to just take all that stuff and just put it on the back burner.
That's fair.
Because it's like you have two ways of looking at something that is both printed material and on the screen. And if you want the original source material, you've always got to go to the books. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing. Yeah. And so I want to the best of my ability, restrict our discussion of these to these.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And so, because oh man, I've been just it's just great. Yeah.
All right.
I
so 20, well, up through chapter 53.
Is that? Yeah, you mentioned that before.
I'm pretty sure. Up through chapter 53. Please keep your comments generally spoiler free. However,
53 mackerel head.
Yeah, in addition to that, I promised something at the beginning of this episode.
Real quick. Is that the archaeologist?
Nope.
Okay.
At the beginning of the episode, I mentioned that there was an announcement at the end of this one, so let's get into it real quick.
Make it happen.
Okay, so you've mentioned it several times. Mom has been binging One Piece. She is currently, as far as I'm aware, last I checked, in Wano right before the raid on Onigashima. So this means nothing to him. He doesn't know it. But
ignorance is bliss.
So we have shared with her some of the comments asking us to get her on the show, and she has agreed. And we were going to wait until she was caught up on the anime or farther ahead on the anime to a good point. I'll have to verify with her whether she has gotten through Wano or not. But we are going to have her on for a special episode as a special guest, and she's going to give some of her thoughts on the series as a whole. But what we would love to happen is have all of you drop comments and have it be sort of a Q&A with her, because I don't know if she's going to be as prepared. She says she's preparing stuff, but it would make it a lot easier on her if it was Q&A style.
So, actually, either send questions in advance, drop questions for her in the comments to this video.
To this video specifically.
We can put the porkchopsriceandpeaches at gmail.com address at the bottom of this video, and you can email questions to her, or you can try to do them live. I don't know how you would make that work.
I mean, unless we did it as a live stream. Anyway,
send her questions.
Send your questions in the comments below. And the most interesting and the most liked questions in the comment section are the ones that I'm going to start pulling out and make a list of, or the ones that sound the most fun.
She would rather have you ask questions than have to prepare stuff on her own.
That
is what her preference would be, and I won't be here for that one. I'm vacating this seat, and I probably won't even watch that episode.
Because of the spoilers.
Because of the spoilers. I don't want them.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So you can go ahead and ask questions, ask to your heart's content, and don't have to worry about spoilers in that context. But
yeah.
Sounds good. All right. What are your thoughts on Syrup Village and the first half of Barate? And make sure to comment down below and subscribe if you want to continue following Dad on his One Piece manga journey.
Sounds good. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Pork Chops, Rice, and Peaches.
And we'll see you next time.
That was good.
That was really good. I think that was really
long.
Good.
Well, of course, no.
We stopped at around 30 minminutes, and then we had the announcement at the end. And...
So, that was a good one. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I forget how he used to draw Zoro. He gave Zoro a much more defined square jaw, and later Zoro got bigger and buffer, and I don't know. It's fun going back to the old art style because he does change and he does adapt, and you can see that his hand he had an astigmatism later. Actually, last year he had it removed, eye surgery. He was out for a few weeks or a few months. And,
wow.
And so you can tell when the artwork has kind of gotten a little.
Well, doesn't he have assistants who can?
He does have assistants,
you know?
but he does the majority of the work himself still.
Does he really?
Yeah, he
Wow.
does. He's very
Is
dedicated.
it, well, because they talked about in the Q&A, he talked about his background assisting other manga artists.
Yep.
And then some of the collaborations that they do. Of course, I don't know any of the titles, but
Yeah. Clang, 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 clang. Forgot he keeps calling him a frog. Yeah, no, these
yeah, those are cool.
just
Those
so
are just-
good.
Yeah, those are cool.
That was fun.
Did I surprise you with the deep dive into characters?
I was so excited when you started